Hello guys, Lit here. So this video will be about Breach, and I know, it's a bit late to the party, but I haven't played with Breach this league, so this is my first time doing Breach. And also, when I search for like a lot of setup for Breach, a lot of them is really expensive. You need Azure Lab, using Plotline, using Resonant Cascade, some of them using Race, so it's pretty expensive setup. So in this one, I want to test something more on the mid budget. It's around 80 to 90 chaos per maps, so it's not super expensive, but it's still very good in terms of like currency making. And because this is a bridge, we are targeting the raw currency, and the main benefit from targeting raw currency is it's very stable. So if the price of the Divine goes up compared to the Chaos Orb, we are fine because we are farming raw Divine. And if the Divine price going down, you're also farming a lot of Chaos Orbs. So either way the market goes, raw currency farm is always very stable, and that's why it's always a meta to farm raw currency. So I'm doing 50 map tasks, and the setup that I'm using for the maps is I'm using T16 Originator. I'm rolling for 2 currency mod, is around 80 to 90 more currency, or 1 currency mod, which is around 45% more currency, and 40% pack size. So you have 2 options you can go for. And for my testing, both of them is pretty similar in result. And the map we are running is Dune, because Dune is just really good for breach. It's open area, easy to boss rush. It's just really good, even though the density is not very high, but the layout is just so good for breach. And the last thing for the maps is I'm using 2 delirium orbs. In my case, I'm using currency one. You can use Definer, Skittering, it's up to you. I'm using 2 of them, and if you can do more than 2, add as much as you can. It's going to give you more monster, more quantity, and as for the Scarab, I'm using 2 Breach Scarab instability. This will give us 4 additional Breach, and 2 monstrous lineage. It's going to give us 80% magic pack size. And for the last Scarab, I'm using Scarab of Whips. It's going to give every single monster in the area have 2000 Wildwood Whips. The type of the Wildwood is kind of random, so there's a little bit RNG on this one because of the Whips. But the Whips is a very good addition. And now for the passive tree. Passive tree is pretty standard. We take all the breach node, and I'm using blue Arthur. If you want to use red Arthur, you can just switch the blue into red. And then I do take some Scarabs node because you do get quite a lot of Scarabs. And because this is a budget farm, I try to squeeze as much as I can. And on the screenshot on the spreadsheet, you're not going to see a lot of Scarab because I basically filtered out most of them. In this league, it seems like a lot of Scarab is not really worth that much. But there's some few one that are quite expensive, and because we do get quite a lot of Scarabs, it's end up giving us quite a good amount of currency. And 3 patches here. Patches is really good for this farm. It gives you more monster, meaning you spawn more Beyond. With Pale Clarion, you get more currency. And in the Mirage area, more Beyond is also more chances to get the Volatile Fire Orbs, which is also pretty expensive. So this is also the reason why we can run a map with 40% currency and 40% pack size. And then map modifier, one here, take all of them. And the coin wheel in the middle. And then these 2 map node over here, because this one give increase rare monster and this one increase magic monster. So as you can see, we are basically just trying to put as much monster as we can on the maps via Beyond, via Delirium, via Breach. So this is about quantity, and because of that, you do need a really good build in terms of like clearing, because the monster density is really high. So make sure your build able to do that. And the faster your build can clear the maps, the higher Divine per hour you're going to get. And this is one of the strategy that your Divine per hour is really depending on how fast your build can clear the maps. So that's basically about the setup. And I'm basically running 50 of them. And this is basically is the result. So I have profit 103 Divine from 50 maps, which basically you make 2 Divine per maps. And the Divine per hour, in my case, is 20 Divine per hour, which is really good for a mid-budget strategy. But the caveat is I can do the map in 6 minutes. And 6 minutes is pretty fast. It's not quite Fabgun fast. I think Fabgun can do it -5, but 6 minutes is pretty fast. And if you're only able to do it in like 7 minutes, you still get 17. If you get it 8 minutes, you still have 15 Divine per hour, which is still pretty good. But if you can get close to 5 minutes, you are in territory 20 plus Divine per hour, which for a strategy that costs like 80 to 90 chaos per map is just really good. And if you see on the loot breakdown, most of profit is coming from currency. From that 50 map, I dropped 58 Divine, which is quite a lot. We also get 2 Fracturing Orb, 2 Sacred Orbs. I think in my previous testing, I also get 1 Hero Lock, but not on this batch, so I cannot include that. And even if I get it, I will not include that. Mirror and Lock, usually I will exclude them from calculation because they are very rare, and they're going to skew the data. We also get a refractive fog from the tele, and also volatile orbs from the peon. 3 and 5 is kind of low. Based on my previous testing, I usually get more than this, so I don't really know if this is the actual rate, but you get quite a lot of fog, you get quite a lot of volatile, and both of them is an item that's going to hold the price because this is the type of item that people are going to use for gambling. And on the fragment side, we do get quite a lot because of the Scarabs, like we got 3 ambush containment, we get a lot of instability because we do take a lot of breach node on the tree, and that's basically skew us into the breach Scarabs, and breach Scarab is, most of them is pretty good, instability is what we use, is 6 chaos each, and if you get cascade, that one is also pretty expensive. So we actually have a pretty good odds to get a good Scarabs on this farm. And then yeah, there's pandemonium, there's timelines. As you can see, there's not much Scarab that I list here because I basically just filtered out most of them, so I don't have to click that much. And even if I pick them up, I will just include this kind of Scarab because this kind of Scarab is the Scarab that are used a lot, so it's very easy to liquidate. We also get some maps like 31 Nightmare, 34 Originator is not that big of a deal, but it's a little bit additional currency. So that's basically the test, and Breeze is really good. No wonder it's become a meta strategy this league. The currency farm is always has been meta, like in Blackheart is the same thing, when you still can farm currency with Blackheart. Blackheart is also meta because it prints a lot of raw divine, and raw currency has been always a people's favorite for in-game farming because it's very stable. And like I said before, this strategy is not actually that expensive, and a lot of stuff that you use on this farm is also not a rare items. For example, like Breach Club stability is pretty common. Monster lineage is also pretty common. Scrap of which is a little bit rare, but it's also not that rare. At Daily Orb, you can farm them really fast if you want to farm it yourself. So I don't think the cost is going to go up, considering we have a Scarab strategy. This league they can print a lot of Scarabs, and a lot of Scarab that we use is also very common. So I don't think the price can go up that much. Like Breach stability, I think it's reached like 8 to 9 kills before, but it quickly go down because it's a very common Scarab. Like I said, the supply going to outrun the demand. So if you can do it, I highly recommend it. It's very stable farm, and also playing with Breach is also fun. It's been like how long since the last time we can play with a mechanic like this, where you have like bunch of monster. I think it's like few leagues ago. It's been a while, and kind of happy to see where the direction goes. Now we're back to killing monster. Monster actually drops something, so it feels nice. Next, I will try to find another stuff. One that I'm still thinking about is how to farm the Astrolith better. There is like a Terros and Pandemonium one that I know that some people do. So yeah, I think that's it from me. As usual, if you guys have any questions, just leave it in the comment below. I will try my best to answer it. Thank you everyone for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you on the next one.